There's a voice in your head, narrating your every move, questioning your decisions, creating doubts, fears, and desires. But have you ever stopped to ask, who's actually speaking? If these thoughts aren't truly yours, then where do they come from? And more importantly, how do you break free? The answer starts here. 1. The program you never chose, the mind's hidden blueprint. From the moment you entered this world, you were not given a blank slate. Your mind was like a soft piece of clay, constantly molded by everything around you: your parents, teachers, culture, media, and the voices of authority. And without realizing it, this external conditioning became your inner voice. At first, it was subtle. A phrase repeated by a parent when you made a mistake, a teacher's disapproving glance when you hesitated, a story about how the world works. These moments seemed insignificant, yet they were imprinting themselves deep into your subconscious, programming how you would think and see yourself. And here's the most unsettling truth. You never chose these thoughts. That internal voice, the one narrating your life, judging your actions and dictating your emotions, it's nothing but a collection of echoes from your past, replaying themselves over and over until you believe they are you. But if those thoughts are not truly yours, then where did they come from? And more importantly, how do you take your mind back? 2. The hidden manipulation, how your mind was hijacked without you noticing. Imagine this. You wake up one day only to realize every belief you hold, every fear you have, and every limitation you perceive was placed there. Society thrives on predictability. A person who questions nothing, who believes everything they are told, is easier to control. So from childhood, we are conditioned to accept certain rules without questioning them. Work hard, but don't expect too much. Be realistic, dreams don't pay the bills. Success is for the lucky, not for people like us. These statements are repeated, reinforced, and absorbed. But have you ever wondered who benefits from you believing them? The media feeds you fear, so you stay anxious. The system rewards obedience, so you don't challenge authority. Your social circles reinforce expectations, so you conform to the norm. But the biggest trick of all? Making you think that these thoughts are yours, that the voice of limitation in your head is actually you, when in reality, it's the result of years of conditioning. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So now the question is, are you thinking, or are you being thought? 3. The ego, the master trickster that keeps you stuck in the illusion. The ego is the greatest illusion ever created. It convinces you that you are it, that your identity, your past, and your thoughts define you. But let's break it down. What is the ego? The ego is nothing more than a defense mechanism, a false self you develop to survive. It's built on insecurity, always comparing, always needing validation, always protecting itself from change. It thrives on the idea that you must remain the same, because any threat to the ego feels like death. This is why you hesitate when faced with transformation, why self-doubt creeps in when you try something new. The ego does not want you to grow, because growth threatens its very existence. And here's the kicker. The ego is terrified of silence. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable people become in silence? How they need distractions, social media, conversations, background noise, anything to keep their mind from becoming quiet? That's because in silence, the illusion of the ego starts to break. The noise fades, and something deeper, more real, begins to emerge, the true you. But the ego will do everything in its power to stop that from happening. And so, it fills your mind with endless chatter, creating problems where none exist, keeping you busy, overthinking, second-guessing. But once you realize you are not the ego, you gain power over it. You no longer react to its fears, its doubts, its need for validation. And that is where freedom begins. 4. If you're not the voice, then who are you? If you strip away the thoughts, the beliefs, and the ego, what remains? At first, this question might feel uncomfortable, even terrifying, because for your entire life you've identified with the voice in your head, but now we are peeling back the layers, revealing something deeper. Imagine sitting on the shore watching the waves crash in and out. Your thoughts are like those waves, constantly moving, shifting, changing. But you are not the waves. You are the observer, the silent presence watching them come and go. The same applies to your mind. You have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. You have emotions, but you are not your emotions. You experience life, but you are not just your experiences. So what are you? You are awareness itself, the silent witness behind it all. And once you understand this, once you feel it, not just intellectually but deeply, everything shifts. The things that once triggered you lose their power. The anxieties that consumed you dissolve. The endless noise in your head no longer controls you, because you finally see that you were never the mind. You were the one watching all along. 5. The escape, breaking free from the mental illusion for good. Now that you see the illusion, the final step is breaking free. Here's how you do it. Recognize the voice. The next time a thought arises, pause. Ask yourself, who is thinking this? If you can hear the voice, it means you are separate from it. Doubt your beliefs, every thought, every belief, every fear. Where did it come from? Was it given to you? Do you actually agree with it? Silence the mind. Spend time in stillness, meditation, deep breathing, even just sitting in silence. Watch how the mind fights it, because it knows in silence it loses power. Live in the present. The voice in your head thrives on the past and future, but in the now, it has no control. The present moment is where your true self exists. Choose awareness over reaction. Whenever you feel anger, fear, or self-doubt, step back, observe it, feel it, but don't identify with it. It's just the mind playing tricks again. Every day, every moment you have a choice, to believe the illusion or to wake up. And now that you know the truth, will you listen to the voice? Or will you finally hear the silence beneath it? 6. The thought trap, how the mind keeps you running in circles. Have you ever felt like your mind is playing a cruel trick on you? Like every time you try to solve a problem, you just find yourself right back where you started. You think you're moving forward, you think you're getting closer to an answer, but in reality, you're just running in place. This is not an accident, it's a design. The mind is an infinite maze, but unlike a real maze, there is no exit. It feeds you the illusion of progress while keeping you stuck in an endless loop of doubt, worry, and overthinking. Think about this. You make a decision, but then your mind immediately asks, what if this is wrong? You take a step forward, but your mind brings up all the past failures that tell you it won't work. You feel happy for a moment, but then a negative thought sneaks in and reminds you of all the things that could go wrong. You never escape because the mind never wants you to escape. Why? Because the mind thrives on movement, not resolution. It's not designed to find peace, it's designed to keep thinking. So you get trapped. Forever analyzing, forever searching, forever waiting for the right time to act, the right knowledge to arrive, the right feeling to appear. And while you wait, your life keeps passing by. What if you stopped playing? What if you stepped out of the cycle and realized that your thoughts are not actually leading you anywhere? Because once you see the illusion, the game changes. 7. Who's controlling the voice? The hidden puppeteer. Who is speaking inside your mind? Whose voice tells you what you can and cannot do? If you think that every thought in your head is truly yours, think again. Your mind has been programmed. Since the moment you were born, you have been conditioned to think a certain way, to believe certain things, and to act within invisible limits that you never even questioned. But who placed those limits there? Was it society? That told you what success looks like, what failure means, and what a good life should be. Was it your parents? Who passed down their fears, their struggles, and their unfulfilled dreams? Was it the media that constantly fills your mind with messages of what you should want, what you should fear, and what you should believe? Every belief you have about yourself, about who you are, what you can do, and what you deserve, has been carefully shaped. And what's worse, most people never realize it. They live their entire lives playing a role they never chose, following a script they never wrote, obeying rules that don't even exist. And the voice in their head, it's not their own. It's a collection of other people's voices, repeated so many times that it now sounds like their own. But once you see it, you can break free. 8. The awakening, seeing the illusion for what it really is. Imagine waking up inside a dream, but you don't realize it's a dream. You go about your day, interacting with people, experiencing emotions, making decisions, but you don't question anything. Then suddenly, something feels off. You start noticing strange patterns, things repeating, people saying the same phrases, moments feeling like déjà vu. Then it hits you. You're inside a dream, and everything you believed was real wasn't. Now, imagine that happening, but in your actual life. Because that is exactly what happens when you start to see how deeply conditioned your mind really is. Every fear you had, not real, just programmed responses. Every doubt you had, not real, just echoes of past experiences. Every rule you lived by, not real, just ideas passed down from others. And suddenly you're awake. You are no longer just a character in the story. You are now the observer of the story. And that changes everything, because once you see the illusion, you can never unsee it. 9. Breaking the spell. How to escape the illusion for good. The moment you wake up, you face a choice. Do you go back to sleep, or do you break free? Escaping the illusion is not easy, because your mind will do everything in its power to keep you inside it. It will tell you, you're overthinking this, just go back to your normal life. This is scary. It's safer to just follow the crowd. You're too weak to change. These are not your thoughts. These are the defenses of the system. The mind wants control, and it will fight to keep it. So how do you break free? Detach from your thoughts. Every time a thought appears, ask yourself, is this truly mine? Or is this just conditioning? If it's not yours, let it go. Stop feeding the illusion. The mind keeps you trapped by making you react. The less you react, the weaker the illusion becomes. Destroy the false beliefs. Every belief you have was given to you. Find the ones that keep you weak. Erase them. Stop living in the past and future. The mind traps you in regrets and anxieties, but the only thing that's real is now. The more you focus on the present, the less control the illusion has. Seek silence. The mind is loud and it drowns out truth. In stillness, you will find the real answers. The illusion only survives if you keep believing in it. The second you stop feeding it, it collapses. 10. The final truth, who you really are. If you are not your thoughts, if you are not the voice in your head, if you are not the beliefs you were given, then who are you? Strip everything away. What is left? Not words, not labels, not ideas, just awareness. You are the presence behind the thoughts, the observer, the consciousness that was there before the world told you who you were supposed to be. And that realization, that is the end of the illusion. Once you see it, you will never be the same. 11. The false identity. You are not who you think you are. Who are you? If someone asked, you might answer with your name, your job, your age, your background, but none of these things are actually you. They are just labels. They are roles you have been playing, identities you have been assigned, masks you have been wearing. But underneath all of that, what is left? Most people never ask this question. They live their entire lives playing the character they were told to play, following the script that was handed to them. But here's the truth. You were born free. But over time, you were shaped into something else. You were given a name and told, this is you. You were told what is right and wrong, what is possible and impossible. You were rewarded when you conformed and punished when you questioned. And eventually, you became the person they wanted you to be. Not because it was who you are, but because it was easier to fit in. But deep inside, there's a part of you that remembers. A part of you that knows this identity is not the full truth. A part of you that wants to break free. And once you begin questioning it, you will never see yourself the same way again. 12. The collective illusion. The world is playing along. The illusion is not just in your head, it's everywhere. Everyone you know is playing a role. Everyone is trapped in their own mental prison. And because the illusion is so deeply woven into society, no one questions it. People chase money, status, and approval, believing it will bring them happiness. They spend their lives working jobs they hate, afraid to step outside the lines. They follow trends, opinions, and belief systems, not because they truly believe them, but because everyone else does. It's a massive, self-reinforcing system. And the scariest part? If you start waking up, the system will try to pull you back in. People will call you crazy. They will tell you to stop overthinking. They will try to convince you that things are the way they are for a reason. Because if you wake up, it forces them to ask, what if everything I believed was a lie? And that is too terrifying for most people to face, and so they keep playing along. But you see it now. And because of that, you can choose differently. 13. The final awakening, seeing reality for what it is. There is one last thing you must understand. If the illusion is not real, if your thoughts are not you, if your identity is not fixed, then what is reality? Reality is not what your mind tells you. Reality is not what society tells you. Reality is something you must see for yourself. And the only way to see it is to let go of everything you thought you knew. Because the deeper you go, the more you will realize you were never trapped, you were never lost, you were never broken, you were just asleep. And now, you are awake, but this is just the beginning. You've made it this far, and that means something inside you knows the truth. But now the question is, what will you do with it? Will you go back to sleep, or will you keep going? Because this journey is just beginning. The next video on the screen will take you even deeper. Click it now before your mind convinces you not to. See you there.